Hi friends, my name is Fari Muhammad Mustafa and here I am going to introduce my channel Fari's Educational Companion is mainly designed for students who are struggling with academics in the pandemic situation of COVID-19. The 2020 survey says more than half percent, around 52% of students struggling to complete their coursework. Teachers are trying to give full focus on students, but they found it challenging to get students connected and engaged, mostly because of the time limit. So here I'm going I'm going to introduce my educational channel Faris Educational Companion to help students, and it will try to work as a real companion who's always hired to help with your doubts, especially in science and mathematics. I have explained the concept in a simple manner using PowerPoint presentation. I also have created a Facebook page for you where you can find all the PowerPoint presentation learning resources that help to enhance your learning. Let's start with 8th grade physics. Shall we move? Here I am going to start with the lesson force and pressure. In this video I am only going to explain the first part. You have learned how objects move. We'll recall what makes an object move. By performing some actions like kicking, pushing, pulling, throwing, etc., makes an object move. In science, it is called force. Today we'll learn more about force. First of all, tell me, what is force? Here you can find examples for push and pull. These all results in some kind of changes in the state or position of an object. It is called force. So we can say that force is a push or a pull. Now consider these examples. Here you can see a goalkeeper, a hockey player, and a fielder. They are doing some actions, and these actions results in some kind of change in the state or position of an object. So we can say that the motion is imparted to objects was due to the action of force. Let's find out, when does a force come into play? Look at the picture. In the picture, a man is standing behind the car. Will the car move with his presence? No. Suppose the man begins to push the car. That means he is applying force on the car. What will happen? The car may begin to move in the direction of force. So here he is applying force to move the car. Now we'll consider another example. Here you can see two girls are playing. Can you tell me who is pushing or who is pulling here? Consider another example. In this picture, can you tell me who is pulling to whom? From these examples, it is clear that two objects must interact with each other for a force come into play. Now, look at the picture. Here, a boy is pushing another boy. So by applying the force, it moves easily. Here the force is applied to an object in the same direction. If two boys are applying force on a same object, then what will happen? The applied forces add one another. But if the two forces acting in the opposite direction on an object, then what will happen? The net force acting on it is the difference between the two forces. Now consider another example. Here, the forces acting in the opposite direction is equal. So, the net force will be 0 only. From these examples, we can conclude that force has magnitude as well as direction. Now, we'll check the effects of force on an object. By applying force, we can stop a moving object. We can change it from rest to motion. Or even we can change the speed by applying force. So we can say that force can change the state of motion. Hope you understood the concept of state of motion. Have a look. An object may be at rest or in motion. Both we can consider as to be the state of motion only. Now let's see, by applying force, what all the effects can cause on the object. Look at the picture. Force on an object may change its shape. Let's see different types of forces. A force can act on an object with or without being in contact with. First, we'll consider contact force. Force is caused by the action of muscles in our body is called muscular force. All the activities involving movement or bending of our body are enabled is due to muscular force. Here, a ball rolling along the ground gradually slows down and finally comes to rest. Let's recall some of our experiences. When we pedaling a bicycle, gradually slows down and finally come to rest. Similarly, a scooter or a car also come to rest once engine is switched off. In these situations, no force appears to be acting on the objects, yet their speed gradually decreases and finally they come to rest. Can you guess why this happened? Maybe some force acting them. Can you guess the direction of the force acting in each case? The force responsible for all these actions to change the state of motion of object is called friction. It is an example of contact force, and its direction is always opposite to the direction of motion. We will learn more about friction in another lesson in detail. Now, can you tell me whether is it essential for any agent applying force on an object always in contact with it? Let's find out. Look at this picture. Is any force acting between them? Is these objects are in contact with each other? No, not. But some force is acting in between them. This force is called magnetic force, and it is an example of non-contact force. Now we'll consider another type of non-contact force. The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or non-charged body is called electrostatic force. This force comes into play even when bodies are not in contact. You know that a coin or pen falls in ground when slips off your hand. Same way, fruits and leaves also fall to the ground when they detached from the plant. Why it is so? Can this happen without any force acting on it? Objects or things pulls towards earth because it pulls them down. This force is called force of gravity, or simply we can call it gravity. It is a non-contact force and it is an attractive force too. Force of attraction between two objects is called gravitational force. Force with which earth pulls everything towards itself. Ball thrown up returns back to the earth due to this gravitational force only. That's all for today's class. Can you recall the things that you have learned today? Have a look. Don't forget to like my Facebook page and get the stuff for your learning. Thank you students for watching. We'll see in the next class with the lesson pressure. Till then, bye.